Technology has evolved a lot and we have so many options to choose from these days, which has become a difficult task. But do not worry, we have ranked up the list of the best products which will help you choose the right one. Go to the description for the latest prices and information. Canon EOS R3. At just a glance, this looks like a chunky DSLR camera from decades ago, but don't let this form factor fool you. The old school body is packed with cutting-edge techs. Chief among its advancements is the 24.1 megapixel full-frame sensor. While its pixel counts might sound low, the stacked design equips the R3 with a rapid engine that can deliver 30 frames per second raw burst shooting. It also minimizes rolling shutters when shooting 6K raw videos internally at 60p. Paired with its articulating touchscreen and enhanced autofocus trackings, the EOS R3 represent a rare combination of talents. In fact, it's one of the most advanced fast-action cameras ever made. With a rugged magnesium alloy shell, it's sturdy enough to survive safaris and sporting events alike. Its price is as bulky as its body, but while it's clearly overkill for amateurs, it sets a new standard for professionals who want the ultimate in speed, quality, and performance. Panasonic LUMIX S5. In a full-frame, mirrorless camera market that is very much dominated by Canon, Nikon, and Sony, Panasonic has done well to get noticed with their LUMIX S5. Although it is a good enough still camera, for an entry-level shooter, it stands out and performs well against its rivals with its 4K video feature, especially with its comparatively low price tag. It comes in a tough, weather-resistant body and is smaller and cheaper than the LUMIX S1 and S1H, which uses the same 24.2 megapixel image sensor. If you want to stray from the main leaders in the full-frame market, this is a good choice. Plus, it uses the L mount, so you have a choice of a large variety of compatible high-quality lenses available from Panasonic, Sigma, and Leica. So far, it's looking impressive with a long-awaited on-sensor phase detection hybrid autofocus system boasting 779 points. The price also seems cleverly calculated to undercut the likes of Sony and Canon. Once we've finished our full review, the LUMIX S5 II will likely find a place on this list, but for now, the S5 is still a great buy. Sony Alpha 7RV. This is built with the same 60 megapixel BSI CMOS full-frame sensor as the Mark IV as well. But Sony says the new processor allows it to use the full extent of the sensor capabilities in a way the previous generation's camera couldn't. But much of what this provides over the predecessor stems from the more powerful processor in the new camera. The power of the new processor significantly enhances the camera's subject recognition capability. It has the ability to recognize, even prioritize people, their face and the eyes, but the 5 takes it much further. This is the first Sony to have a focus bracketing function built in. It provides 2x2 MIMO compatibility. This uses a body that's very much similar to the A7S3 model, which itself is the evolution of the A7R4 body. That means the buttons and dials will be familiar place. It uses the same NP-FZ100 battery as Mark III and newer A7 cameras. These are 16.4 watt-hour batteries that power to a rating of 530 shots per charge when using the rear screen or 440 shots per charge using the viewfinder. It is confidence-inspiring camera to use. Mount a good lens on it and you'll get the lens that Nikon D850 used to give. Anything that goes wrong is your fault, not the camera's. It'll do everything it can to make sure nothing goes wrong. Leica M10 Monochrom. This includes an 18 megapixel CCD sensor. This takes form factors, rangefinder, but install a black and white only 40 megapixel newly designed CMOS sensor inside it. It has a brass and magnesium alloy body, which gives it a sturdy and well-constructed feel. The viewfinder itself is again the same as the found in MP10P. The viewfinder itself is the same as what's found in the M10P and the original M10. The magnification factor of 0.73 times gives a good view of the scene. Its design gives it the widest focal length. Speaking of ISO, there's a secondary smaller dial on the left-hand side of the top plate for adjusting that. Sharpness and details are exquisite, and if you're somebody that only shoots in black and white, there's little to dislike about the final image quality. If most, the camera niche proposition. The M10 Monochrom is super niche, something that only a handful of consumers will realistically consider for purchase. For the majorities of people, only being able to shoot just black and white is going to be a problem. Many would prefer to have the flexibility of being able to shoot in color and later convert images to post-production in monochrome. Canon EOS R5. As its spec sheet confirms, this is an incredibly powerful tool. In fact, it's Canon's best mirrorless camera to date. The 45 megapixel full-frame sensor is exceptional, producing superlative images in low light with fantastic noise handling even past ISO 4000. Next-gen dual-pixel autofocus backed up in Canon's Digic X processor is similarly excellent, with outstanding accurate tracking and animal detection skills that will low-blow any Safari shooters. The electronic shutter also delivers rapid 20 frames per second continuous shooting, completing a package that is capable on the street as well as the studio. Less solid are the hybrid credentials, which is hard to ignore 8K footage of up to 30 frames per second and 4K of up to 120 frames per second. The R5's versatility for videographers is limited by heat restrictions on recording times with long cooldown periods. What's more, it represents a serious investment, especially if you shell out the speedy CF Express cards needed to unlock its ultimate performance, but if the money is no object, it's arguably the top full-frame option for still photographers. Nikon Z 7 II. This still has a 45.7 megapixel full-frame BSI sensor, but it's now backed up by dual processors compared to the single processor in its predecessor. The camera's exterior is largely unchanged, which is fine by us. The Z series cameras offer some of our favorite ergonomics on the mirrorless camera market. The high-resolution model in Nikon's mirrorless lineup is all about image quality. It remains one of the only cameras on the market that provides a low native ISO of 64. This helps maximize dynamic ranges for high-contrast scenes like sunset or sunrise landscapes. Its burst speeds tops up to 10 frames per second with continuous autofocus instead of 9 frames per second, and it buffers up to 3 times deeper, giving you a total 77 12-bit RAW image before slowing down. The 45 megapixel sensor is unchanged from its predecessor. Image quality is absolutely outstanding in a broad range of scenarios, and RAW files are very flexible. In files from the original Z7s, we do have some minor bandings in the deepest shadows, but Nikon appeared to have cleared up with the new model. The main shortcomings related to autofocus. The tendency for eye autofocus to slightly front focus, and the subject tracking's habit of focusing somewhere on the subject you focus selected rather than tracking that precise point are only real gumbles in terms of performance focus. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to hear more from us, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of our new videos.